We hear a lot about what's called false flags, and there are some that think that the nature of a false flag, by the way it sounds, means that the event didn't happen. It doesn't always have to happen, but often it does. And in the 1990s, I coined a phrase, problem, reaction, solution, which really describes what a false flag is. Basically, you create a problem covertly, you tell the public the version of that event that you want them to believe, i.e. you lie to them and give them a version of what happened and who was responsible that actually isn't true, because you're looking at stage 2 of problem, reaction, solution at the reaction. And you want people in fear, you want people outraged, you want people furious. And basically you're looking for the response of something must be done. What are they going to do about it? People become open to solutions that they wouldn't normally support, but hey, you know, we've got to do it now, this has happened. And so you go problem, covertly created, blamed on someone else, reaction, outrage, fury, fear, and then you openly offer the solutions to the problems you have covertly created. I've just described 9/11, where you blame 19 Arab hijackers you say were orchestrated by Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan, even though bin Laden had nothing to do with it. See my book, The Trigger. And then you have your problem, horrific events of September the 11th. You have your reaction, understandable horror and outrage, and then people are open. It's interesting, in mind control and psychology, it's well known that a traumatized person or a traumatized population becomes open to suggestibility. And so the solution is basically the suggestibility. And what was the solution? Oh, we invade Afghanistan, which we never would have been able to justify without the problem. And you then go on, of course, with your war on terror to invade Iraq on a lie, and then Libya. And problem, reaction, solution, the false flag, is a fantastic way of getting what you want that otherwise you would not have been able to justify. You had the Reichstag fire in Nazi Germany, which they then blamed on someone who wasn't involved and were able then to justify the fascism that was imposed because we can't have this situation. It's something that you can pick out throughout history. And there's another version of problem, reaction, solution, which I call no problem, reaction, solution. And that's where you don't have a real problem, but what you have is the public perception of a problem. Because you can have something that actually happens, you can have something that is actually a problem, and people will react to that. But as long as the public have the perception of a problem, it doesn't have to be real, they will still react in the same way. And so we've had this, for instance, no problem, reaction, solution. That was the human-caused climate change scam, where they just made it up. They said there's this problem, we're all going to die. If that doesn't happen, that doesn't happen. We don't centralize power and basically deindustrialize the world. And as long as enough people, many don't, But as long as enough people believe that is real, they will think that the solution, deindustrializing the world, transforming human society, is justified. And of course, we had the years of COVID when we were told there was a deadly virus requiring a solution that was a safe and effective jab, which turned out not to be the case. People had the jab in their billions because they believed, perceived there was a deadly virus. Well, at no point has a deadly virus been credibly proved to exist. The false flag is incredibly effective as a mind perceptual manipulation technique that allows you to do what you otherwise would have a lot of pushback about. And there's a stablemate of problem, reaction, solution, the false flag, which is what I call the totalitarian tiptoe. Actually, it's the totalitarian sprint now. And that's when you're starting at A and you know where you're heading, you know you're going to Z, but you go not in massive leaps, unless you think you can get away with it. You go in incremental steps, the stepping stone technique, the totalitarian tiptoe. So you'll go from A to B. You might then go to D, and you assess public opinion and whether it's open to what you're doing. And you go through the letters towards Z, and then eventually people look back and they realize just how far they've come in incremental steps. And the totalitarian tiptoe is what we've been experiencing all the way through these years and decades as freedom has been systematically erased and curtailed step by step by step. And when you see how far we've come in that direction, it's a shocker. And problem, reaction, solution and the totalitarian tiptoe go together, because what you're doing is you're using problem, reaction, solution, the false flag, to make the incremental steps, and the incremental steps, one by one, are leading you to your end goal. And that's what we're looking in the eyes of now, in the gun sights of, where they've been leading us all along.